Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a tool that is absolutely crucial for every single citizen to understand. We're talking about how to navigate the First Information Report, or FIR, under India's new criminal law framework, the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, or BNSS for short. We're going to break down exactly what your rights are, the specific actionable steps you need to take, and most importantly, how to hold the system accountable.
But first, picture this. You're traveling, you're miles and miles away from your local neighborhood, and suddenly you witness a serious crime. What do? I mean, if you witness a crime far from home, how exactly do you report it? Do you have to drop everything and travel all the way back? Do you try to hunt down the specific local police station for that unfamiliar area? Well, let's dive into this, because the answers have massive, real-world stakes. Just knowing your legal rights in a moment like that could literally be the difference between justice being served or completely denied.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll cover the FIR foundation, who can file, the power of the zero FIR, how to file, and finally, what to do if police refuse.
Okay, Section 1, the FIR Foundation. Let's look at how this actually sets justice into motion.
You see, under the new laws, the main object of an FIR is simply to start the criminal justice system. That's it. It's not meant to be this exhaustive encyclopedia of every single tiny detail of the crime. Really, it's just the initial accusation containing the material facts. Think of it like a key that turns the ignition of a giant criminal justice engine. Without that key, the official police investigation simply cannot start.
Section 2, who can file a report? Time to debunk a few common myths here.
The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you do not have to be the victim to demand justice. The law doesn't restrict filing to just the injured party. A witness can file it. And get this, astonishingly, even the accused person themselves can file an FIR. The whole system is designed to take in information from anyone, so those wheels of justice begin turning immediately.
Moving right along to Section 3, the power of the zero FIR. This is where we break down those frustrating jurisdictional hurdles.
Remember that scenario we talked about earlier? The one where you witness a crime far from home? Well, here is your answer. Section 17.3 of the BNSS officially codifies what's known as the zero FIR. Basically, this is an FIR registered for a serious, cognizable offense, regardless of territorial boundaries, and it's assigned a zero serial number. This is a total game changer. It's your ultimate legal toolkit hack, because it means justice begins with accountability, not jurisdictional borders. The police literally cannot turn you away by saying, "Oh, sorry, this didn't happen in our area."
Let's look at the official workflow for this, using this Meghalaya police protocol as an example. First, you can approach literally any police station. Second, they register that zero FIR. And third, and this is the most critical part, they are legally bound to transfer it to the correct jurisdictional station within 24 hours. They have to do the legwork so you don't have to.
Take a look at these exact do's and don'ts for officers handling your zero FIR. They must register it immediately. They must not refuse it under any circumstances whatsoever. They are strictly forbidden from delaying or discouraging you from filing the complaint. When you walk into a station, you are fully empowered by these exact legal mandates.
All right, Section 4, how to file an FIR. Let's walk through the actual step-by-step process.
Under the BNSS, the filing methods have finally been modernized. So, Step 1. You can submit your information orally or via electronic communication, like emails or messages. Step 2. If you give it orally, the officer must write it down and read it back to you, just to ensure total accuracy. But please, pay super close attention to Step 3. If you submit your FIR electronically, you are legally required to physically sign it within 3 days for it to be officially taken on record. If you send an email and you don't follow up to sign it within that 3-day window, your FIR basically vanishes into thin air. It will not be officially recorded.
Now, once it's recorded, do not leave the station empty-handed. I mean it. Section 173 mandates that whether you're the informant or the victim, you are legally entitled to receive a copy of the FIR forthwith, which means immediately and entirely free of cost. It is your statutory right to walk out of there with that documentary proof.
Finally, Section 5. The most frustrating scenario you might face. What if police refuse? Let's look at the escalation ladder.
So, the Supreme Court has made it abundantly clear that registering an FIR for a serious offense is a mandatory duty. It's not a discretionary power. But if an officer ignores their duty, you don't just give up, right? You climb the escalation ladder.
Step 1, you send a written complaint by post to the Superintendent of Police, or the SP, of the district. Make sure you keep that postal receipt. If the SP doesn't act, you move to Step 2, submitting an application to a judicial magistrate. And if that still fails, or in really egregious cases, you move to Step 3, filing a writ petition before the High Court.
Let's zoom in on the sheer power at the top of that ladder. If you go to a magistrate, they don't just ask the police nicely. The magistrate can actually assume the powers of an officer in charge. That includes directing arrests, searches, and seizures to physically force an investigation. Meanwhile, the High Court can issue constitutional directives under Article 226 to officially mandate the FIR registration. They routinely impose heavy financial costs on police officers who willfully refused your FIR in the first place. So, a police refusal at the front desk, that is absolutely not the end of the road.
So what does this all mean for us? Well, now that you know exactly how to set the wheels of justice in motion, will you be ready to use your rights? You now know that anyone can file a report. You know that jurisdictional borders are essentially erased by the Zero FIR. You know that electronic filing requires a strict 3-day signature, and that you have a powerful, multi-step escalation ladder if you are ever turned away. Keep this toolkit in mind, demand your rights confidently, and never, ever let the system intimidate you. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.